Iya. Hinta lagi. Sini.
Look. Okay, so the door opens.
No.
It gets worse, mate. I don't know what to do. I'm actually just look.
Cameras are everywhere, often capturing things we don't even notice. These silent witnesses, whether part of security systems or just on our smartphones, end up recording some truly strange and unexplained events. They catch ghostly shapes that seem to appear and disappear, and other events so strange they defy explanation. But why is it so dangerous to watch these videos completely alone? Let us explore the horror stories behind what the cameras have captured, and why these disturbing recordings might be more than just a trick of the light. The haunted barbershop. Imagine ordinary places where weird things happen quite often. Think about a simple trip to the barbershop, where you'd least expect anything weird. Yet, there are true stories from such common places where chairs spin by themselves, scissors hover in mid-air, and mirrors show glimpses of figures that disappear too quickly to be ignored. These strange events, caught on camera, make us question what's really possible in our day-to-day lives. As we dive deeper into the eerie and unsettling, we come across events that seem barely believable. These aren't just made-up ghost stories. They are real videos that challenge our understanding of reality. And they're so creepy that watching them alone feels like stepping into a realm of intense fear. In a well-known barbershop, made famous by a hairstylist turned YouTube star, the routine of haircutting is interrupted by unexplainable events. A simple blue cloth begins to move on its own, as if controlled by an invisible hand. Nearby, a mannequin head turns slowly, as if scanning the room, drawing all eyes to it. Some say it's because the shop is on an old graveyard, fueling ghost stories that add a spooky vibe to the local barbershop. Then, there's the story of an old factory at night, caught on video surveillance. Two figures appear, moving unnaturally through the darkness, their bodies distorted in eerie ways, resembling beings from a child's scary story more than anything real. Are they just humans in odd costumes, or something truly beyond our understanding? Consider someone moving into what they thought would be a dream home, only to find it might be haunted. This continuous story, told without breaks, draws us in with its mix of skepticism and drama, pushing us to figure out what's real and what could be supernatural. A couple who used to share cheerful life updates online now posts unsettling changes. Their cat acts spooked by something off camera, and suddenly a plate flies across the room by itself. This shift turns their content from lighthearted to something resembling a thriller. What's really happening? Are these signs of actual hauntings or just a clever ploy for online fame? From haunted barbershops to creepy factories, let's see what a doll with a mind of its own will do next. A doll for your nightmares. This question stays in the mind as the story moves on to another strange event, with a doll that seems to act by itself. For those interested in supernatural events, or who like classic horror, the sight of a doll turning its head by itself to look at an unsuspecting child might be very creepy. One might wonder if this event is really something that cannot be explained logically, or just a piece of spooky entertainment meant to keep the audience's attention. The doll, sitting in a corner of the room, starts to turn its head as if it's watching the child. Some people might think this is just a visual trick or smart video editing instead of the doll having an evil spirit. Both skeptics and believers have lively debates in the comments. While some say it's just a clever use of shadows and camera angles, others believe the doll is cursed and tries to interact with living people. At the same time, another video gets a lot of attention. It shows a child being pulled under her bed. Here, the parents clearly use a home surveillance system, not just for safety, but to record strange happenings in their daughter's room. The video shows a young girl, fascinated by something unseen, and suddenly, something pulls her down from under the bed, suggesting there's something invisible there. This surge of supernatural claims brings a mix of fear, fascination, and disbelief among viewers. Are these events just parents and pet owners using common fears and digital tricks to make interesting stories? Or are these truly puzzling events that need serious investigation? It's hard to tell the difference between truth and lies, leaving viewers torn between fear and doubt, both eager and hesitant to see what might happen next in these seemingly haunted homes. The incidents began with what seemed like normal disturbances under the bed, a classic element in ghost stories that always grab people's attention. However, when a young girl looks under her bed, her father is convinced she was pulled into the unknown by something unseen. This belief leads to a big argument between the parents, growing so intense that the father turns to social media, looking for support, or just more people to hear about their family issue. The story ends without a clear conclusion, deliberately left open, prompting everyone, including their neighbors, to share their diverse opinions on the situation. Elsewhere, on someone else's Facebook page, a strange event is shown. This time, Vivian Gomez captures an incident on her home security system. What begins as a normal day in a quiet neighborhood suddenly turns odd as a strange figure walks down her driveway. Moving awkwardly like a creature from a cheap sci-fi movie, this leads to wild guesses. People wonder if it's a visitor from another planet or just an optical illusion. Vivian, unsure of what to make of her unusual visitor, turns to the many amateur experts on Facebook, whose opinions vary from somewhat reasonable to extremely imaginative. In another situation, a different homeowner has begun to believe that her kitchen is now inhabited by a poltergeist. This notion isn't novel. The kitchen, often bustling with family activities, has unexpectedly become a site for inexplicable events. With a skeptical attitude, she sets up video cameras that capture footage of doors and garbage can lids moving by themselves, swinging open and shut without any visible assistance. Lacking a plausible reason for these strange happenings, she posts the video recordings on social media platforms, seeking either some understanding or at least to find camaraderie in shared bewilderment. In a separate story, there is the narrative of Deer Park Central Broadcasting School, widely regarded as the most haunted educational institution in Ireland. The principal, who might be inclined towards the theatrical, publicizes video evidence of nightly disturbances. Doors violently slamming, lockers shaking, and papers being thrown about, as though a ghost has a grudge against orderly environments. This footage is also uploaded to YouTube, attracting millions of views. Interestingly, the option for viewers to leave comments is disabled, preventing any public discussion and leaving the audience to ponder in solitude whether the events were a real ghostly encounter or merely a strategic attempt to gain more attention. Public parks, those cherished retreats from daily life, serve as sanctuaries where children eagerly climb onto slides and swings, and families spread out blankets for leisurely picnics. However, not every outing to the park follows this peaceful script. Take, for example, the unusual incident that was recorded on video, a single swing in an empty park, moving vigorously as if propelled by an invisible hand. Once this footage was shared on social media platforms, it quickly became the focus of intense discussion and debate. In the video, this lone swing is seen moving forcefully from side to side, a stark contrast to its motionless, neighboring swings. This discrepancy prompts viewers to concoct theories involving supernatural forces. Enthusiastic spectators entertain the notion of a ghostly child, one who might be lingering in a favorite playground, attempting to connect from beyond the living world through a display of playful energy that seems out of place. Next, we move from spooky dolls to a playground where swings move with no wind. What's really going on? Nature or ghostly hands? Yet not all viewers are convinced that the occurrence involves a ghost. Some critics of the ghostly explanation point to other aspects in the video, like the nearby swings that are also slightly moving and the distinct sound of wind rustling through leaves and audibly blowing against the camera's microphone. These observers suggest that the seemingly animated swing was merely moving due to a fortunate gust of wind. The swing, constructed from lightweight plastic and suspended by thin ropes, is especially prone to being moved by natural elements. This natural explanation serves as a credible alternative, asserting that it is typical for such swings to react to environmental forces like wind. Yet, the attraction of a ghost story is powerful. The lack of any visible human figure in the video adds a chilling dimension to the story, prompting even the most logical people to consider the possibility of a ghost. After all, who doesn't enjoy a spine-tingling story that turns a normal visit to the park into an encounter with the supernatural? These stories engage our affection for the unknown and our natural curiosity about things that can't be easily understood, providing a thrilling distraction from our typical daily life. As numerous cyclists zip past, some cannot resist slowing down, casting the beams of their headlights towards a solitary figure who stands ominously on the trail. This dark figure looks directly at them with an intense stare, almost challenging them, as if to test their bravery for interrupting its solitude during the night. The tension escalates, with the silence only broken by a soft utterance of "witch" from an especially startled cyclist. They find themselves unable to divert their gaze from this entity that seems more spectral than human. Yet, the video cuts off abruptly, leaving all viewers in a state of doubt, both real and metaphorical, regarding what became of either the cyclists or the figure. Was this merely a trick of the light, or perhaps something genuinely more alarming? This leaves us searching for answers, an irritating but compelling situation. In a similar vein, a separate recording presents its own array of baffling events. What starts as a routine urban setting shifts into a peculiar scene when a pedestrian unknowingly becomes involved in a bewildering disappearance. As a motorcyclist passes by, a sudden, brilliantly colored burst in an otherwise dull setting causes the rider to vanish from sight. Almost right after, another pedestrian appears to be the target of a vague, blurred figure that shows itself just long enough to puzzle and vanish without leaving any clue behind. The scene seems staged. The undisturbed walk of the initial person and the seeming ignorance of the disappearance stretches believability. The fleeting presence that momentarily dominates the frame introduces just the right amount of theatrical flair to an otherwise unexplainable event, ideally suited to provoke both curiosity and doubt. Both video clips share a frustrating characteristic. They prompt more inquiries than they resolve, and perhaps that is their purpose. In a time when digital manipulation serves as both artistic expression and deceptive tactic, these videos play with the limits of what is real, urging the viewer to distinguish between truth and falsehood. One might argue that the audience is being manipulated, like observers at a digital performance where the controls are managed by invisible forces. Whether these events are authentic irregularities or cunning hoaxes, they achieve their apparent objective: to confuse and mystify, making everyone slightly more cautious of the vague images flickering at the periphery of their displays. This story, polished to an unnatural sheen, reveals itself to be less than genuine through its presentation of supposed evidence, which more likely points to deception. Consider, for example, the bizarre instance of what is claimed to be a mobile tree, purportedly discovered in the depths of Joppa, Maryland. The video provided is notably unstable, encouraging viewers to entertain the idea that trees might have grown legs and taken to wandering. A more detailed examination, however, shows individuals wearing outfits designed to resemble trees. These people lift and carry the trees, which move in a theatrically strained manner before toppling over, all behind a nondescript apartment building. This scene lends credence to the well-known online adage: seeing is not necessarily believing, particularly when claims involve the unnatural. In the middle of the 2010s, a trend began where individuals would dress in clown costumes and appear at night. These people seem to want to either frighten or entertain others, but the very idea often caused discomfort among the public. One notable example occurred on October 27, 2018, just a few days before Halloween. This event was recorded by a security camera at a suburban home, where a person in a clown costume slowly walked up to the house and stood, staring into the camera in a quiet but intense confrontation. The specific timing and location of this event seemed too precisely planned, leading some to believe it was a calculated attempt to exploit the common fears associated with Halloween, rather than a spontaneous act intended to scare. This raised doubts about its authenticity and suggested it might have been staged to play on the widespread cultural anxieties of the season. These occurrences are part of a broader and increasingly troubling pattern, driven by the internet's strong capability to obscure the line between what is genuine and what is artificial. Each video that is circulated and gains popularity, each assertion that rapidly spreads across the internet, shapes a reality that is molded not by solid evidence, but by the frequency it is viewed, distributed, and appreciated on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This warping of the truth is not merely deceptive. It serves those who seek to provoke, alarm, or entertain themselves at the cost of viewers who are too engrossed in the spectacle to question its authenticity. Consequently, society is forced to traverse a thickening fog of digital falsehoods, where entities like jesters and legendary creatures are no longer signs of real abnormalities, but rather mirrors of the odd ways in which our modern culture interacts with the concepts of truth and fabrication. As we question the whispers in the wind, the shadows of the night call us to unearth more dark puzzles. The evil figure at midnight. An individual holds balloons in the middle of the night, staying just long enough to unsettle any observers before vanishing into the darkness. This situation seems specifically crafted to spark conversation. Was this simply a person, perhaps someone with a flair for the dramatic, aware of the camera's focus, and keen to stir a bit of unease, or even gain some online popularity with a staged act of spookiness? This person, dressed in a plain outfit, plays the role of a prankster rather than a spectral figure, providing an odd type of Halloween entertainment rather than genuine fright. Shifting to another equally questionable event, picture a night in the year 2012 where the atmosphere is charged with the melodies of sisters singing together in a vehicle, enjoying their sense of liberation, when suddenly, a dark figure seems to appear in the back seat. Was there actually a ghostly baby haunting the car seat? Or was it merely a blend of poor lighting, a low-quality cellular phone camera, and the natural human tendency to perceive faces where there are none? The sisters, possibly confused after driving repeatedly around a large parking area, might hint at a ghostly visitor, but the more logical explanation strongly favors visual deceptions created by the mind. In another peculiar incident, an employee at a cannabis shop in Oregon City experiences what could be described as a paranormal event. A jar on the counter moves inexplicably and falls over without apparent cause. Nearby, scissors and pens jitter inexplicably. Even with firm assurances that the security footage hasn't been altered due to strict state rules, one might still wonder if simple causes such as vibrations or minor air movements were ignored in preference for a more thrilling tale of hauntings. Is it possible that the everyday functions of the physical world are deemed too dull to consider when a more exciting alternative might attract more attention and possibly boost business? The world appears to be filled with these dubious events where the normal is often disguised as something spectacular. From claimed ghostly presences to unidentified flying object reports on cruise ships, the preference for intrigue often eclipses a more likely, albeit mundane, explanation. Each incident, wrapped in the appeal of the unknown, connects with our affinity for engaging narratives, even if this means overlooking simpler reasons. As the distinction between reality and make-believe becomes less clear, the actual truth frequently stays just beyond our grasp, hidden not by supernatural forces, but by our own inclination to believe in something more exhilarating than our daily lives. Visualize yourself on a relaxing holiday, anticipating nothing beyond enchanting marine life, the consistent breaking of waves, and continuous relaxation. Imagine gearing up for a splendid time. However, for one individual, the trip took an unexpected turn that seemed to come straight from a science fiction story. While relaxing on the deck of the cruise ship, his casual video recording caught an oddity, a peculiar spectacle speeding through the air, resembling the typical depiction of an unidentified flying object. Unidentified flying objects, those constant sources of intrigue, keep attracting attention in the news and hold the public's interest consistently. In this particular video, a light streaks across the sky at an incredible velocity. The person operating the camera maintains they have witnessed an unexplainable event. However, it is worthwhile to entertain some skepticism. Could this event actually represent a visitation from an extraterrestrial civilization? Perhaps these supposed space beings chose to start on a trip aboard a cruise ship, seamlessly integrating with the human travelers without being noticed. Alternatively, could this phenomenon simply be an optical illusion, a brief glare that plays playfully on the camera lens, caused by the interaction of light angles and precise timing? What remains uncontested is the odd readiness of the cosmos to deliver strange phenomena our way, regardless of our location on this planet. It is prudent to always have a camera ready to capture these fleeting phenomena. Whether they are visitors from space on a terrestrial adventure or merely light particles performing on glass, the thrill of recording the unforeseen persists, inspiring awe and confusion, prompting us to reflect on the immense, unexplored areas of both our world and the space beyond. Reddit, a large online platform where daily experiences encounter the extraordinary, offers a place for people who appreciate both the routine and the unusual to share their interests, fears, and creative thoughts in a collection of digital posts. This website hosts a variety of individuals, from enthusiasts who discuss wrestling from their living rooms to beginners practicing magic, showcasing a wide range of extraordinary and sometimes quite unsettling scenarios. Among this loud collection of shared stories, the experience of one user stands out, a common situation involving a dimly lit hallway and a flickering light that sways in time with unseen and unexplained forces. In the detailed account, a video acts as the chilling evidence of what the user describes as a supernatural occurrence within their house. According to the story, a standard household light begins to put on a spooky show of flickering and flashing, as if it were being controlled by invisible, spectral hands. With no one else reported to be in the residence, the situation quickly evolves from ordinary to unexplainable, casting shadows of uncertainty over the straightforward explanation of electrical issues. The person, who has lived in this place for more than 2 years, states they have consistently sensed an unsettling presence, hints of the unexplainable that previously only appeared as mere sensations and brief shadows. However, this visual display of their discomfort, the erratic behavior of the light, signifies a crucial moment in their life at home. They suggest, with a mix of resignation and concern, that this event cannot be easily explained by logic, indicating the involvement of forces that might exceed the limits of scientific knowledge and delve into the realm of the supernatural. From strange figures in the night to odd flickers at home, are these just tricks, or is something else at play? Hidden places with silent ghosts. One should not be too quick to attribute strange occurrences to ghostly sources. The popularity of such stories on Reddit stems not only from the thrill of the supernatural, but also from the community's ability to turn ordinary events into captivating tales. The social media platform is a fertile environment that encourages both skepticism and belief, transforming every shadow and flicker into narratives of hauntings and fear. One might skeptically consider whether our storyteller, perhaps more motivated by the prospect of creating viral content than by actual ghostly visits, has crafted the ideal story to engage the avid followers of Reddit's more eerie sections. Should the odd events persist, it remains uncertain whether they are caused by unsettled spirits, or simply the house adjusting to its foundations, or the electrical system causing unexpected excitement on an otherwise normal day. As the narrative fades into the multitude of others on the platform, it leaves behind a trace of curiosity and a hint of skepticism, demonstrating once again that on Reddit, the boundary between what is real and what is exaggerated is as fine as the line between this world and the next. Or it could be something as mundane as a malfunctioning wire. Imagine this situation. A child is enjoying a sleepover with their friends, which is usually the pinnacle of youthful fun, right? However, sometimes the joy can be interrupted. Picture a moment when the laughter and games are suddenly stopped by a loud, banging noise coming from the closet. This is exactly what happened to one unsuspecting child. Instead of being awakened by the sounds of shared whispers or snacks in the middle of the night, they were jolted awake by a noise that seemed like it belonged in a horror film. In a state of near panic, they grabbed the nearest hard object, not a soft pillow, to wake up their friend sleeping on the floor. Now, fully awake, the two children cautiously approached the closet, the origin of their fright. But just as they got there, the banging noise ceased. How timely, right? It seemed as though the sound was aware of its audience. This is where the story takes a turn, either becoming more intriguing or more absurd, depending on your perspective. One of them mentioned feeling regretful about playing with a spirit board earlier that evening. Suddenly, the story deepened, or so it appeared. This small inconsistency raised questions about the entire frightening experience, implying it might not be genuine. It seems sensible to think that these children, who could be quite intelligent for their age, may have invented this story to gain attention on social media platforms like TikTok. It's a reasonable scenario to consider. Turning attention to another common phenomenon that combines everyday events with unexplained occurrences: doorbell cameras. Originally intended solely for security purposes, these devices have become a staple in daily life, documenting everything from humorous events to unexplainable occurrences. Imagine a regular day when nothing unusual is anticipated, maybe just the arrival of a package. Suddenly, the camera, activated by its motion sensor, records something that seems out of place. How should one interpret this? Could it be merely a trick of the light, an insect flying past, or perhaps something more unusual? Both narratives tap into a shared theme: our interest in and doubt about unexplained events. Whether it is a sound in the night or an anomaly seen on camera, there is a part of everyone that looks for a logical explanation, while another part, perhaps more instinctual, considers possibilities that go beyond what is commonly understood. However, in an era where becoming a viral sensation is highly valued, it is difficult not to view each incident with a significant amount of skepticism. So what is one's opinion? Are these real encounters with the unexplainable, or simply another attempt to capture the fleeting attention of online viewers? It is truly interesting how normal moments can become unusual when observed through a home security camera. Imagine a situation where, on a typical day, the owner of the house watched the video and stated that they saw a figure that appeared to be standing up from a bench and moving across the video frame. However, it is important not to make quick judgments about supernatural events. These cameras, while providing extensive surveillance, often have difficulty producing clear images of objects that are too close, making the details blurry and not well defined. Given the windy and damp conditions of that day, it is far more probable that the figure seen was not a ghost or spirit, but perhaps an insect or another small animal that appeared suddenly in front of the camera. The events recorded by these devices have historically varied from holy sightings to completely incredible events. Eager homeowners have reported seeing everything from heavenly creatures to mythological beings moving through their video feeds, only to later realize that these were just moths attracted to the nightlight of the camera. Skeptics might laugh at the explanation as they remember the wind shown in the video, suggesting it might have been something as simple as a plastic bag performing a dance under the door. But for now, without clearer proof, all that anyone can do is consider different possibilities. Over time, the capability of home security cameras to record unforeseen events has sparked many discussions about the contents of the video recordings. Frequently, Events that are initially perceived as extraordinary turn out to be ordinary happenings viewed from an unusual perspective or influenced by environmental elements. These cameras, primarily installed to keep an eye out for security risks, are not always adjusted for perfect clarity in every scenario. This often results in interpretations of the video that lean towards the fantastical rather than the realistic. Turning attention to a more heavenly display, the solar eclipse on April 8, 2024, enthralled a vast audience across North America. Social media platforms were abuzz with numerous people sharing their personal experiences. Among these, one particular video filmed outside a car dealership gained notable attention. It captured not only the awe of the spectators, but also an unexpected figure dashing across the sky. This fleeting image in the clouds sparked a wave of excitement, with some spectators convinced they had seen a space vehicle from another planet, while others, sticking to more rational explanations, guessed it might be a solitary eagle pursuing prey at high speed. However, the true nature of this unidentified flying object remains unknown, leaving many viewers amazed and bewildered. This ongoing theme of unclear and puzzling encounters, whether from this world or another, continues to inspire both amazement and skepticism. It highlights our intrigue with the unexplained and how easily our eyes and our recording devices might mislead us, transforming the mundane into something seemingly out of this world. Although the thrill of imagining supernatural occurrences is captivating, often the most straightforward explanations prove to be the most accurate, even if they are less captivating. Could the strange events captured on home security cameras be the work of unseen supernatural entities, or are they clever hoaxes designed for internet fame? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing content.